The legend of Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca is Economics 101. He spent so much gold in Cairo that he caused inflation for a decade. What the chronicles omit is the return journey. The Malian emperor didn't just give gold away, he sent 200 empty camels back to Mali. Empty, or carrying something more valuable than gold? The answer was in the accounting discrepancy. In the Mamluk Sultanate's treasury records in Cairo's Dar al-Kutub, I found the 1324 entry. Received from Musa of Mali, 12,000 mithqals of gold dust as gift. Standard. But the receipt copy in Mali's oral historians' archives, preserved in Timbuktu manuscripts, said, gave 12,000 mithqals. Received 200 camels with sealed saddlebags, contents unknown. Why would Musa trade gold for bare, sealed mystery? Unless the saddlebags contained something more strategically valuable than gold. The hunt for Mansa Musa's 900 million strategic reserve began with a bookkeeping mismatch across the Sahara. Phase 1. The blind trade. The Timbuktu manuscript gave one clue. The camels followed the salt road, but turned where the great dune touches the river's old bone. There they were unburdened. The bags were placed in the belly of the sleeping crocodile. The river's old bone. Fossilized riverbeds in the Sahara, ancient waterways now dry. The sleeping crocodile. A rock formation? A place name? Satellite imagery of the trans-Saharan route between Cairo and Timbuktu revealed thousands of fossil riverbeds. But only one region had both a distinctive crocodile-shaped rock formation and documented Mansa Musa-era Malian presence. The Adrar des Ifogas Mountains in northern Mali, near the Algerian border. The region is controlled by Tuareg separatists and jihadist groups. Research here wasn't just difficult, it was lethal. Dr. Aminata Diallo, a Malian archaeologist from Bamako, warned, "You'll need permission from 3 groups, the Malian army, the Tuareg elders, and the people who actually live there, who haven't seen an archaeologist since the French left." Phase 2. The multiple gatekeepers. We assembled an unconventional team. 1. Dr. Diallo and her university colleagues for academic legitimacy. 2. El Hajj Agakli, a Tuareg elder and former caravan guide who knew the Adrar region intimately, and Captain Idrissa Traoré of the Malian army, providing security and government oversight. 4. Musa Diakité, a griot oral historian, whose family had preserved Mansa Musa stories for 700 years. Diakité recited the relevant epic. Musa brought back the seeds of empires, the knowledge of stars from Arabs, the art of healing from Persians, the making of steel from Turks. These he hid in the mountain's memory, for a time when Mali would need to remember how to be great. In seeds of empires sounded metaphorical. But what if the saddlebags contained literal seeds, books, and tools? A civilization starter kit? Akli led us into the Adrar. "The sleeping crocodile is not a rock," he said. "It's a cave system whose entrance looks like a crocodile's mouth when the light is right. My grandfather showed me. He said it was a bank of forgotten things." Phase 3. The biocultural vault. The cave entrance was indeed crocodilian, a jagged opening beneath an overhang. Inside, the first chamber held 200 stone pedestals, each with decayed leather saddlebags turned to dust. But on each pedestal, arranged neatly, clay pots containing desiccated seeds, identified later as drought-resistant crop varieties from Mesopotamia, India, and Anatolia. Copper cylinders holding scrolls in Arabic, Persian, Greek, medical texts, astronomical charts, architectural plans. Iron tool kits, specialized smithing tools, water pump components, surgical instruments. And most intriguing, glass vials with colored powders, pigments, medicines, chemical reagents. This wasn't treasure. It was a medieval version of Svalbard's global seed vault, a biodiversity and knowledge repository. But the inscriptions on the pedestals revealed the true purpose. For the renewal of Mali, should darkness fall. When the river's dry and the city's empty, plant these seeds, read these words, use these tools. Gold can be spent. Knowledge regrows. Mansa Musa, having seen the advanced civilizations of the Mediterranean and Middle East, had reverse-engineered their development and brought home the components, not to display but to preserve against catastrophe. In Phase 4, the second chamber. A passage led deeper. El-Hajj Ag Akli hesitated. My grandfather said there is a door that asks a question. Only those who know what Mali truly is may enter. The door was bronze, green with age, inscribed in Ajami script, Arabic alphabet for African languages. The question, what is worth more than gold, cannot be stolen and grows when shared. Diakite the griot answered immediately. Education. He spoke the word in Soninka, Bambara, and Arabic. The door didn't open. Captain Traoré tried. Power. Nothing. Dr. Diallo. Freedom. Silence. I thought of Mansa Musa's famous quote, I came from a country where nothing grows but gold. He understood gold's ephemeral nature. What had he learned on pilgrimage? That institutions outlast metal. Justice. I tried. A click. The door slid sideways. The inner chamber took our breath away. Gold, yes, but not as wealth, as raw material for rebuilding. Gold bars stamped with instructions, for minting new currency when trade collapses. Gold wire labeled, for repairing scientific instruments. Gold leaf, for illuminating new books when old ones burn. And a solid gold model of the Great Mosque of Djenné, with this inscription. If the real mosque falls, use this gold to rebuild it exactly. Some things must not disappear. But the centerpiece was administrative, a gold tablet listing every item, its purpose, and this final command. To the future finder, I, Musa, king of Mali, have seen empires rise and fall. Gold flows like water. Knowledge is the only well that never runs dry. Use this gold not to enrich yourself, but to rebuild what ignorance destroys. The seeds are for feeding bodies. The books are for feeding minds. The gold is for feeding both when famine comes. Choose wisely. Phase 5. The modern parallel. We faced our own crisis immediately. Captain Traoré received orders. Secure all gold for the state. Dr. Diallo argued, this is cultural heritage, not bullion. El-Hajj Ag Akli warned, if you remove these, my people will see it as theft. The desert has its own justice. Diakite mediated. Mansa Musa didn't hide this for a government or a tribe. He hid it for Mali, all its people, future generations. We must honor that intent. The situation mirrored Mansa Musa's fear. Short-term needs versus long-term preservation. Phase 6. The Malian solution. We devised a compromise worthy of Musa. 1. The seeds would be germinated at Mali's agricultural research stations, creating a climate-resistant crop bank for Sahelian farmers. 2. The scrolls would be digitized and published openly, with original copies staying in a new Timbuktu Knowledge Preservation Center. 3. The tools would be used to train apprentices in nearly lost crafts. 4. The gold would be placed in a sovereign wealth fund, managed by a board of historians, scientists, and community leaders, with profits funding education and drought relief. The valuation was ironic. Gold, estimated 3,000 ki. $180 million bullion value. Historical value of collection, priceless. Potential agricultural value of seeds, billions if they help adapt to climate change. Total insured estimated value, $900 million as a conservative figure. But the real value was philosophical. Mansa Musa, often caricatured as the gold-throwing king, was actually a strategic futurist. He saw Mali's gold boom as temporary and invested in permanent resilience. The desert's memory, today. The cave is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The seeds have yielded drought-resistant millet varieties now planted across the Sahel. The Gold Fund has built 12 schools. For me, the discovery revealed that the richest man in history's greatest insight wasn't about acquiring wealth, but about transcending it. Musa realized gold was merely a means, and he used it to purchase the true ends: knowledge, sustainability, resilience. Sometimes the greatest treasure isn't what's accumulated, but what's saved from oblivion. Mansa Musa didn't just bring back gold from Mecca, he brought back the ingredients for civilization's renewal, and he buried them in a desert cave with instructions not for a king, but for a people yet unborn. We were those unborn people. And we faced the same question he encoded in bronze: what is worth more than gold? Our answer would determine whether we were worthy of his 700-year-old trust. The real treasure was the challenge: to be better ancestors than we were descendants. To look at gold and see not wealth, but responsibility. And perhaps that's what Musa really brought back from Mecca. Not things, but wisdom, packaged in saddlebags and waiting in a crocodile's mouth for a time when Mali and the world needed to remember what truly lasts.